everyone, I'm Marlena Wapp and you're watching Australia's biggest child safety lesson. This is a special broadcast brought to you by the Daniel Morcombe Foundation. We're going to talk about safety and we'll hear tips from Aussie kids on how to get help. Then our junior journo chats with the Kids Helpline counsellor. But before we do that, let's take a closer look at the Daniel Morcombe Foundation and their big day, the Day for Daniel. The Day for Daniel is Australia's national day of action for child safety education. This means that it's a day for kids across Australia to learn about being safe. Everyone has the right to be safe in their home and community, especially kids, and that's why everyone gets involved. Families, businesses, kindies, daycare centres and schools like yours. The day remembers Daniel Morcombe. Daniel was a 13-year-old boy who found himself in an unsafe situation. It went from safe to unsafe very quickly. It's important to appreciate that sometimes in life, trouble may find us. If it does, we need to have the skills to recognise, react and report the situation. Daniel's family want to make sure that all children know what to do if they ever feel unsafe at home, school, online or while in public. This is why we have Day for Daniel. We all have the right to feel safe all the time. There are lots of things we can talk about to help everyone stay safe. Let's take a look now.
Where do you feel safe?
At home.
I feel safe when I'm at a relative's house because I trust them.
I feel safe at school. At home with parents.
What does being safe feel like?
Like you're happy and comfortable.
Being comforted by people that you trust and being loved.
It feels like you're being loved and you're cared for.
Comforted and happy.
Being safe should feel good. We should all be able to feel safe all the time. But this isn't just a warm and fuzzy thought, it's a legal right. That's right, it's the law. See what I did there? But seriously, it's all thanks to a document called the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, or the UNCRC for short. Leaders from all over the world came together to write the convention in 1989. The convention is a list of things that children everywhere have a right to. And there are heaps, 54 of them in total. That's pretty cool, right? Each item on the list is called an article. Let's have a look. Article 28 says that all children have the right to an education, so being in school is a legal right. But the UNCRC also makes sure that it's not all work and no play. Article 31 states that all children have the right to relax and to play, so chilling is a right too. All right, sorry. Article 19 says that all kids should be looked after properly and protected from harm. Australia has signed on the dotted line, which means that our government has promised to work hard to make Australia a safe place for all kids. The law says that it's a grown-up's responsibility to keep kids safe. That's our country saying that all children have the right to feel safe all the time. Right on. Did you know that the Convention on the Rights of the Child, or the CRC, applies to all children? They don't have to be earned and they can't be taken away. Absolutely everyone is important and we all have the right to feel safe. There are lots of things that our bodies do to let us know that we might not be safe. These are called body clues. What does your body do when you feel unsafe? Let's have a look at some body clues that we might experience so you can recognise, react and report.
Oh, a message from the stomach.
Boss, we might have a situation. We are feeling sick in the tummy. stomach's upset. Sometimes people have upset stomachs when they're feeling unwell. I wonder what's wrong. Heart, what's going on down there?
Boss, the heart is really racing, beating faster and faster. Boss, we've got tears happening right now. We need to do something.
Recognising body clues doesn't always go down like this, but feeling sick in the stomach, having a racing heart or crying can mean that our body is trying to tell us that we don't feel safe. There are lots of other body clues too. What others can you think of? Did you guess feeling weak in your legs? How about having shaky knees? Hair standing up, goosebumps, or going to the toilet without meaning to are other possible body clues. We don't have to feel all these things. We might just get one or two. Sometimes we might feel body clues around someone who makes us uncomfortable, even someone we know well or our family knows well. No matter where we are when we get these body clues, it's important to listen to our body. It might be trying to tell us that we may not be safe. Now that we've recognised that we might not be safe, it's time to react. This means to find a way, if possible, to become safe again. Sometimes the safest thing to do in the moment is nothing. Sometimes it's to scream and shout. Sometimes we need to break a rule so that we can be safe again. This is not an easy thing to do, especially if you feel upset or scared, but you can say no to anything that makes you feel unsafe. There are times that we may not be able to say anything or do anything to make ourselves safe or feel safe, but this is never a child's fault. It's the role of grown-ups to keep kids safe. If this happens to anyone, it's important to tell an adult as soon as possible.
Okay, it's time to react. What's the safest thing to do? Sometimes we have to break a rule to be safe again. I know that usually I'm supposed to respect my elders, but it's okay to say something if I feel unsafe. Let's say it makes me feel unsafe when you do that.
Okay, good decision.
Your body belongs to you, and you have the right to say no to anything that makes you feel unsafe. If you ever feel unsafe, it's important to tell a grown-up. It's adults' responsibility to keep kids safe. You are doing the right thing by telling an adult who can help you.
I know, we need to talk to a safety helper.
Safety helpers are grown-ups that we can talk to who will listen to us, believe us, and help us to feel safe. It can take a lot of courage to talk to our safety helpers. You are important. You have the right to feel safe, and you are doing the right thing by telling them.
I have a problem. Can I talk to you?
Keep telling someone until someone listens. Sometimes it might be easier to talk to a friend. Although if we feel unsafe, it's important to also tell one of our safety helpers. If a friend tells us that they're unsafe, it's important to help them tell an adult who can help. Sam feels sick in the stomach at lunchtime. He's being bullied by 2 older boys. Sam knows he needs to recognise, react and report. Can you match up the responses below? Sam can recognise he might be unsafe by noticing his sick feeling as a body clue. He could react by telling the boys to stop or by running away from them when they approach him. Then he can report by talking to a grown-up about what's happening. Remember, if your body clues are telling you that you might not be safe, recognise, react and report. Now we're going to hear some safety tips from our viewers. Our reporter Georgia is live from a local school.
Thanks, Marlena. We're getting tips from Aussie kids on how to get help if they need it. Let's hear what they have to say now. So, why is it important for someone to tell an adult if they feel unsafe?
So that the adult can help them.
Because they'll care for you.
Because they can make the situation better and make you feel more safe.
It's very important if you don't feel safe to definitely tell an adult so they can help you about it.
If someone's been feeling unsafe, who could they talk to?
Definitely maybe a teacher, a relative, parents, an older sibling, anyone you trust.
Their friends, because their friends can make them feel better.
The teachers, your parents.
To talk about it and so they know what's going on.
If you're feeling unsafe, I definitely recommend talking to a teacher or a parent or guardian.
And so if you had a friend who was feeling unsafe, how could you support them?
You could sit down, give them some advice, but if they still feel unsafe, definitely tell somebody.
By comforting them and making sure the situation is better and maybe talk to them if I want to talk about it.
I would comfort them and try and make them laugh. They could take 3 deep breaths, you could talk about it, and you could tell someone.
I'd sit down and talk about it, and if they still don't feel unsafe, I'd definitely tell a teacher.
We keep kids safe at our school by stressing to them how important it is to report and providing them with that support when they do report so that we make sure that things are looked after. Yeah.
Great work, guys. Seeking help when you need it can be scary, but it is always the right thing to do. You can always find someone who will listen at Kids Helpline, Australia's free private counselling service. Our junior journo, Jasper, finds out more.
Being a kid can be hard sometimes, but nothing is so awful that we cannot talk about it. You'll always find someone who will listen at Kids Helpline. Kids Helpline is a counselling service, which means there are people who will listen to what you're going through and support you. It's free and runs 24/7. I'm going to have a chat to Jess, a Kids Helpline counsellor. Thanks for joining us, Jess.
Thanks for having me, it's great to be here.
So Jess, what can I call Kids Helpline about?
You can call Kids Helpline about anything. The counsellors here will happily talk to you about things going on in your life, maybe things at home, things at school. It could be about your family, your friends. It could be issues you're going through like cyberbullying, issues like harassment, or issues that you're having in your life. It could be things that are going on for your friends where you're needing to call and talk about problems that they're having and get some help that way. You can talk to Kids Helpline about anything that's happening in your life.
So how can I contact Kids Helpline?
You can contact Kids Helpline 3 different ways. We have our phone, email and web. In contacting us, we're open 24/7, 365 days a year, because we know that issues and problems come up at any old time and that you might need that support on any day of the year. In contacting us, you can give us a call on 1800 55 1800, and that's a free call, even if you don't have credit on your phone. Otherwise, maybe you want to be able to email us where you write it all down and then a counsellor will reply to you over email. Some kids as well, the way they get help from Kids Helpline is they log on to our web chat through our website and then they message back and forth with a counsellor about whatever it is that they need to talk to that day.
And what happens when I call?
When you call Kids Helpline, you'll first hear a recorded message, and this will tell you that you'll soon be on to a Kids Helpline counsellor, that you can choose the gender of the counsellor you speak to. When a counsellor is then available to talk to you, they'll answer and say, "Hello, this is Kids Helpline." They'll want to ask questions to know what it is you're calling about. You can tell us as much or as little as you like and take your time to be able to open up. With calling Kids Helpline, you can always call back as well, And you can, if you need to, get a translator if English isn't something that you're confident in speaking in.
So Jess, will you tell anybody what I say, or?
Jasper, that's a really great question to ask. Lots of kids ask this when they call Kids Helpline. In calling us, it's a private call in talking to a counsellor. So they won't go and tell people what you've spoken to us about. Sometimes though, when kids call, they tell us things that are really serious, and it makes us worry that if someone else doesn't know what's going on, that person could be at significant risk of getting hurt. In these situations, we talk to that person about what's going on, how they deserve to feel safe, and we'll let that person know that perhaps we might need to help them get in contact with other people so that they can feel safe. But otherwise, the things you talk about, we do keep that private because we know how important that is for knowing then to be able to share what it is you need to talk about.
And how long will the phone call last?
So this is up to you. You can talk for as much or as little as you like with Kids Helpline. Some people call up and they might have 5 minutes before they have to go somewhere after school, and they'll talk for that long. Sometimes though, people, they call quite regularly, and they might even then have an hour with that counsellor, and they call perhaps once a week, maybe even once a fortnight or once a month, and that counsellor puts aside that hour so that you can really talk about what you need to and get that support, whatever it is that's going on for you.
Thank you very much for your time today, Jess.
My pleasure, thanks for having us.
It's great to know that we'll always have someone to talk to at Kids Helpline. Back to you in the studio, Marlena.
Thanks, Jasper. What a great service. There are lots of ways we can get help if we ever feel unsafe. I hope that you enjoyed this special broadcast of Australia's biggest child safety lesson. Remember, if you ever feel unsafe, recognise, react and report. See you next time.